Won't miss seeing you every day.
My final guest for this couch tonight is the beautiful Angela from Pilot Accountants and Loanne from YHC Lawyers. I've got these two up tonight because advisors really collaborate with accountants and estate planners. Our jobs sort of overlap in a lot of ways. And Angela is also Hudson's personal accountant and my accountant, so this girl will take my calls on a Sunday after hours. Honestly, she's got my back 100%, but she also does with our clients. We've been working with both of these girls over the last 3 years now, and we share a lot of clients together. And Angela, I'm gonna start with you tonight. I'm gonna pretend we're at a barbecue. I think we were on this tangent before, and I'm gonna go, hey Ange, got any free tax advice for me?
And I cringe.
Yes, I knew you would. No, seriously, we all do work. I just want to sort of talk about how we work in together and how our roles overlap. I know years ago we were able to do a lot more, like your role's been defined a lot lately as well. So I'm going to handball.
So thank you for my introduction and that great question, which does actually come up from time to time at social events. Can people hear me? Does this actually... Hello? Okay, so my response to your question, there is no good tax advice. That is free tax advice.
Come on, Ange.
You get what you pay for. What you need is quality advice from a quality accountant. Now, who
Welcome,
is
Angela?
What is a quality accountant? All accountants help their clients with tax minimisation, but a quality accountant goes far more. A quality accountant will do out-of-box strategies for their clients. They will not copy what they have previously done for another client. They will offer a tailored solution for their clients. A quality accountant will also help clients with asset protection, and a quality accountant will also ensure that tax lodgements are done accurately in accordance with the tax law. So to go a little bit further on that response, I'll break it up into two areas. The first will be asset protection, and the second will be mitigating against ATO audit risk. So the first one. We work so hard for our cash. In fact, I'm sure every single one of you really love your jobs, and if you could, you would have retired by now. I know I would have. So it's important that you want to protect your wealth. A quality accountant will ensure that your assets are protected, because there are those adverse events that happen, and isn't it sad if you suffer a financial loss because your accountant was only chasing those extra few deductions to increase a refund, as opposed to considering other matters at hand. The second one is mitigating ATO audit risk. So what I mean by that is, in Australia, we have a self-assessment system for tax. It is you who is responsible for what you lodge in your tax return. You may use an accountant to help you prepare your tax return, but the tax office comes after you, not the accountant. So rather than finding an accountant who is more fixated on chasing those deductions to increase a refund or reduce a tax payment, you need to be comfortable with your accountant to make sure that what you are lodging with the tax office is accurate. I hate to admit this, but the tax office every year surprises me. They become more and more intelligent with what they know about every single one of you in this room. So years ago, they had access to bank accounts, so they knew what income you earned and what expenses you were incurred. But they're much more savvy now. They understand and they have access to various government portals. So you sell a property, they know about it. You sell a car, they know about it. But they also have ATO officers who are going through social media and they're watching what you have actually posted on social media and then seeing whether the information in your tax return actually paints the same story. And what happens if it doesn't? It will trigger a flag. And so then what the ATO does is they will contact either the accountant or the taxpayer and ask questions. If they don't like the questions, the answers that they get, they go further. They will move that to a review and then potentially an audit. Now, on the off chance that they are not happy with the information you've told them about the with what they're investigating and they don't agree with that it should have been in your tax return, whether you have omitted income or increased deductions, you will suffer a financial loss. And the loss is more than just paying back the tax benefit you've received. You will also be cut with penalties. Now, those penalties are big. Those penalties are based on the type of error. It's a sliding scale. So if your penalty was based on an honest mistake, you will still get a penalty, but it's not as big as if the error was actually done deliberate. Now, those penalties are material and quite significant. And the double sting is, not only is it payable to the taxation office, but it's also non-tax deductible. And then we have interest on that. And the interest on your payment that you have to pay to the taxation office has a very high interest rate, north of 10%. So those taxpayers that are more hunting those quick dollars rather than making sure you stay under the radar with the taxation office, making sure that you are protecting your wealth, are better, there's no risk. It's better than on the flip side. So I'm here tonight with Christy Baxter, who is back there, who isn't even listening to this presentation. Look at her. There she is. She's also a partner at Pilot with me. And I'm also here with Cherie Phillips. Is Cherie here? Oh yeah, there she is. She's listening. I just wasn't watching her because I need glasses. She's a senior accountant and Pilot. And we also have Daniel Gill. He's a partner here and he's in the corporate advisory team. We're quality accountants. And but the biggest takeaway I would say here is you need to have a good quality team around you. You need not only a quality accountant, but you need a quality financial advisor. This is where Hudson comes in. Yeah, that's you, Mick. That's you. Now, personally, I'm fiercely protective of my personal brand, and I go far and beyond for my clients. And I know Hudson does exactly the same for their clients. We all, Christy and I, Cherie, Daniel, we have worked with Ivan. We have worked with Mick. We've worked with Melissa and Chris and really the entire Hudson team. I'm not going to name everyone because you should be on this couch being grilled by Juanita. And so I'm just doing the ones that are in eyesight right now. But it's important to have a team of quality advisors who are protecting you. And I call it the triangle of service. You need quality accountants and advisors who work together to ensure that you are always looked after from a tax minimisation, but your assets are protected and you stay clear of doing anything dodgy with the taxation office. And that's it.
Cash flow is king, and part of what we do when we do strategies is look to see, you know, is it an increase in income that you could possibly get? Is it working 3 jobs, or is it minimising your tax? Cash flow is king when it comes to investing. So we do collaborate a lot with Angela and with accountants. You know, we have clients who've got their own accountants, and we're happy to collaborate with them. We've just done a lot of work over the last couple of years with Angela. Loanne, estate planning. I know this is, Angela, you're bringing me down before. I was scared. We were like bringing the tax man, and now I'm going to talk about celestial passing. Now we've got estate plan. This couch over here. We need to sort of, no, just kidding. Loanne has been working with us for a couple of years as well. I think with in Australia, there's no inheritance tax. There is a sneaky tax that can come into play if you die with superannuation and you're leaving it to children who are over the age of 18. There is a tax that can come into play with that. And this is where collaboration with advisors and your estate planner can come into play, because there are also strategies that we can use to negate this tax, or at least minimise the tax that might be payable. So part of a retirement plan or any sort of plan will look at your estate planning, and Loanne has worked now with the advisors for a few years, as well as, actually I'm going to introduce another lawyer as well, but I'm going to talk to Loanne first because Mick actually has worked a lot with Loanne lately. I'm going to throw this to you for questioning Mick about Loanne, but over to you, Mick.
Loanne?
Yep.
Loanne. Estate planning is probably the least sexy of the financial planning realm.
I disagree.
To those uneducated. But it is super important. I mean, at least 50% of this audience would be blended families. Might be some psychotic ex in the background who is waiting in the wings. Another thing that I've found is the prevalence of children who are neurodiverse, which I think comes into play when talking about estate planning. So I've referred many clients to Loanne, from nuclear families through to blended with everything in between. And likewise, you've referred back to me clients who didn't even know they needed financial planning advice. So collaboration rules.
Yeah, if you thought you were depressed before, now we're going to talk about death and incapacity. I do think it's a very interesting area of law. I'll be honest, when I was getting my first job and they said you'll be doing wills and estates, I thought, oh great, dead people. But it's not about dead people, it's about alive people and what keeps them up at night, what worries them. An effective estate plan is one where you've looked after yourself, but you've looked after the well-being of the people that you love. And what could be more interesting than that? So when we talk about an effective estate plan, we are talking about a will and an enduring power of attorney and an advanced health directive. But what we're really talking about is advice and strategy to make sure that you're looked after. And my clients go from age 18 to 95. And the things that worry people and the things that keep them up at night, there are many common themes. Everybody here, if you haven't got a will, I want you to go home tomorrow and look at yourself, but then also you need to get something sorted. For those that do have a will, you're going to sit there thinking, I am sorted. But what I want you to do is I want you to have a look at the copy of the will that you have and look to see who you've appointed as an executor. The executor's role is to arrange your funeral, but also to deal with your financial advisors and your accountants if anything happens to you. And it's a job, and the job that they have to do is a paperwork driven job. You need a proactive person, someone who's 100% trustworthy. It's not how much you love someone, it's not in order of age of children, it's someone who can carry out that role. And that role is to collaborate with your financial advisors and your accountants to collect in your assets, pay your debts and taxes, and distribute your estate in accordance with your will. So it's a position of trust. So when you go back and have a look at your will, I want you to make sure that you're comfortable with the people that you've appointed. I want you to have at least 2 or 3 people in order. Lawyers are pretty depressing. We keep saying, what if that person falls off the perch? What if that person loses capacity? But we'd want to build in these layers. We want to future-proof as much as possible. And then the other reason you make a will is to control things. Ruling from the grave is fantastic. And we want to make sure that all your hard work, your investments, your savings, your sacrifices, at the end of the day, who does it go to? You want it to go to the right people. And I sit down with couples every day, and we talk about, those that have children, we talk about, do we divide it equally between the number of children that you have, or do we reward effort? And that's pretty interesting, isn't it? And there's no right or wrong to that, but there's a discussion. And when there's a blended family, it's even more interesting because we think about, is it really 2 families, or is it the number of individuals? Do we think about the financial contribution that each partner brought to the marriage? Sometimes I'm sitting down with people and they're saying out loud for the first time how they truly feel about each other's children, and how they worry that if their partner loses capacity or passes away, that they might be pushed out. So it is very interesting. It's a good thing my other degree is psychology. The other thing that I'm starting to see a lot of, and I know Mick sees this too, and Ivan, is the bank of mum and dad, the biggest unregulated bank of Australia. And the fact that parents are helping their children mostly with getting into property, and how do we deal with that? So if you're sitting there and you've given a large sum of money to your children, the first thing we've got to talk about is it a loan or is it a gift? The parents always think it's a loan, the kids always think it's a gift. Never seems to be the other way around. If you're sitting there and you think that you've given or loaned a large sum of money to the kids and the other kids don't know about it, you're kidding yourself. If you think that they know about it but they don't mind, you're also kidding yourself. And it's all fine for you, but people like the financial advisors and the accountants and the lawyers, we're the ones that have to sort it out after you're gone. And it's very interesting because I once had a situation where the estate was divided between 2 brothers, and I thought, this is the easiest job I've ever had. Mum's divided the estate equally between you. And one of them said to his brother, I know that Mum paid for your kitchen renovation and you chose all the Miele products. I've gone and got it valued and you owe me $26,000. And the other brother said, Mum paid for your divorce fees and she's put your boys through private school. You owe me money. And it was on. We had to get forensic accountants involved. It was just a complete mess. So when back in the day, you used to go to one lawyer who did your will and your conveyance and your divorce and your speeding ticket. It's all different now. Estate planning is specialised, and what it is it's a financial health check. That's why we collaborate with financial advisors and accountants. We check the superannuation nominations. We check your life insurance nominations. We run current title searches. Some of the things that you think you own are actually owned by companies and trusts, and they're dealt with separately. And we need to bring out all the, we bring out all the stories. We find out where the money's gone, who's got what, how do we equalise? Do we have to equalise in the will? Can we equalise while you're alive? Well, that needs financial advice, because you need to make sure that if you're going to equalise while you're alive, you've got enough money to go on for the rest of your life. We don't know the time and we don't know when, so we need to make sure that that's in line with a strategy. So be prepared when you see your next estate planning lawyer to just spill your guts out and tell them everything. I don't want people sitting there going, gee, I really should tell Luann about my illegitimate child, but it's going to add 40 minutes, let's not tell her. No, we need to know everything, because contesting wills is something that's just happening more and more. And as the economic times get tougher, that's when we see more people contesting wills. I don't have much time to speak, but I do want to give you a public service announcement. And that public service announcement is that Christmas is coming and you need to behave. And I'm telling you that because after every Christmas, Easter and Mother's Day, I get a spike of inquiries of people wanting to disinherit their children. So if you get an invitation for Christmas and you can't guarantee your behaviour or your partner's behaviour, do not go. Send an expensive bottle of champagne with a handwritten card that's been signed by you in pen. Take a photo of the card before you send it. But in all seriousness, the new year is a time where people spend a lot of time thinking about their relationships, so please be on good behaviour.
Is that? Oh, thanks, Luann. We also, we've got so many clients. I think we've got at Hudson about 3,000 active clients all around Australia. And so we also use Clayton from Empire Legal. There's an Empire Legal team here. Clayton and the team from Empire Legal are up the front. They're amazing. I love these guys as well. They also do wills. They specialise more in mums and dad sort of basic wills. But Clayton and his team are great, and we've been using them a lot this year. And we've got so many clients who do wills. So many clients don't have wills. It's quite frightening, actually, or they haven't looked at their will for a long time. So we've got if you want to talk questions, Luann, Clayton are here tonight, and Angela. But this ends our first session, our first couch session.